Nasdaq's just been ripping, the S&P's just been ripping, and nothing has really changed. Like we have the China negotiations going on. The Chinese tariffs were put on hold for a bit and pushed back, and stocks are just ripping off of that. And I don't know if this is really going to continue for much longer. Like today, we just saw there's the momentum kind of died off. Nasdaq did close bullish trend, so that is a good sign for the recovery, but it does seem like it's getting exhausted here, and I could see a possible pullback to Momo before continuation forward.
Yeah, so you make a good point there. Like I think that there is some momentum exhaustion that at least has to be considered here. And I don't know if it's necessarily yield related because, as we were just saying, 30 years clapping on 5% here, and market's still up and to the right type of style here off the lows, which doesn't necessarily mean that, I wouldn't try and put so much of a correlation between rates and stocks at the moment. I would just look at stocks and say the amount that you've moved in the last couple of weeks has been pretty aggressive. Now, some would say, "Oh, you're just making up for lost time, right, for the drawdown." But to think that the market's going to just linearly rise up and to the right, it's probably a bit foolish, right? I do think that there's some corrective steps that'll happen along the ways, and positioning for those when they present themselves with the proper regime is probably going to be the next step of the tour here in the macro regime, right?
Yeah, I think this is like a combination of stocks playing catch up. Like the S&P hasn't really gone anywhere since December last year. And so there's that catch up factor plus a mix of some FOMO coming in, coming off of the lows there. People that missed out on buying the dip, they're seeing, okay, the trade deals are starting to come in. There are negotiations happening. It's not going to be as bad as everyone thought. And so we have that FOMO buying also coming in and pushing stocks up. And I do think that we are getting to the point where it's starting to get a little bit exhausted now that we're up to the December 2024 levels where we kind of stayed a little bit as growth started deteriorating initially when we had our first sell signal to sell at the NASDAQ end of December. So now that we're up there and growth isn't better than it was back then, maybe it does get better. We'll see. We'll have to see where the growth index goes from here.